Hi, I'm Susan Hilferty. I'm a costume designer, and I'm designing the new production of Annie. People are always surprised at what a costume designer really does. They have ideas about being a fashion designer, about clothes, or somebody who only does pretty dresses. What I like to tell people is that I'm a storyteller, and my medium is clothing. So what I'm doing is trying to identify specific things about a character in relationship to the story that everybody is trying to tell. So the way I begin is by reading the play and listening to the music. The story of Annie, I know, takes place in New York City. I know that I'm going to have very rich people and very poor people. My job is to create the people who live in my New York City. Because in fact, I have to invent this world. As you can see by my space, I love books. And books to me are a great way for me to look for inspiration. The other thing that's really important is that you touch things. So it is easy to look at a picture of a dress, but if you actually want to understand what that dress was and how it was made, you have to feel it. So I sit at my table, I start to sketch, I use my research. I have already had a conversation with the actor and we've talked about how we want to transform. I have in my mind visions of colors and textures, and then I do the drawing. A lot of my work is drawing, because I get to think visually. So the drawing is something in which I explore what a garment might look like. As soon as I have a sketch, I take it right to the people who are going to make the clothes. And the makers will include a cobbler and a dressmaker, dyers, painters, a milliner, who's somebody who makes the hats, and then we start to move forward. We start to build an idea, sketch in 3D what the costume will look like. Every single actor will come in for at least 3 fittings. And we call them fittings because that's what we're doing, is we're going to fit all of the pieces together. We are looking at these variations and hoping that they'll all go together to make the vision that I've already put together when I did my sketch in the first place. I find that costume designers in the theater come from every different kind of background. Some of them were interested in fashion, some were interested in history, some were interested in art. What I do find is that to be a good costume designer, you have to be interested in everything. History class is what we do, is all about history. It's about storytelling. Read plays, read books, draw. You need to be feeling things, fabrics, and I don't care if it's knitting or sewing or jewelry making or fixing a car. All of these things make you connect your hands and your brain. And that's really the most important thing about being any kind of designer. If you want to be an architect, if you want to design clothes, if you want to design anything, the one thing that we all have in common is that we work with our hands and we take that from our hands and bring it to our heads and our eyes. I am so excited to be designing this new version of Annie. It is a great musical, it's got great characters, it's about New York, it's so many things that I can celebrate. You, when you're watching the performance, are seeing a window, but if you imagine outside of the window, there are all of the stagehands, all the wardrobe people, the stage management, all the makers of the clothes and the scenery, whose skill and work has brought it all together for you to be able to enjoy this performance of Annie.